in this week's episode is my favorite day and my conflict day all in the same week. How can that be? We have Jupiter stationing direct, Mercury stationing direct, Mars making a trine to Jupiter, yay! And then the full moon with the Mars squaring Pluto. All right, work it out, man in charge wins. To hear more, tune in to this episode of Astrological Intentions.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Astrological Intentions. I am your host, Alex Reevy, along with the train technician herself, Sandy Reevy. It is episode 169 and October 18th. Let's get right into it. We have in the transit Sandy's favorite day today.
Hold on.
And Monday, October 18th, Jupiter stations direct.
All aboard.
And Mercury stations direct.
Invite others on.
And Mars trine Jupiter.
Promises.
Then Sandy's conflict day, Wednesday, October 20th, the full moon in Aries.
Work it out.
And Thursday, October 21st, Mars square Pluto.
Man in charge wins.
And Friday, October 22nd, Sun ingress Scorpio.
At least he's out of his fall.
Then in Talisman times, Sandy has had a week off from Talismans. However, upcoming, she has 4 to benefit from long-range goals, to purchase real estate property for investment, to share my skills and expertise with the world, and to give and receive glory and gains. Then on the horizon, we have our November astrology forecast coming up, as well as our Constellation bracelet workshop we want to tell you more about. Then in our house, Sandy and I are going to answer the podcast listeners' questions. Next one up, which astrological signs are compatible? Stay tuned for this episode of Astrological Intentions.
And so you finally know you control where you go.
Hello, our train conductor.
Yes, I've got some information and more signals for you.
I can't wait. If anyone's curious what that means, stay tuned to our house so that you'll get the train technician's techniques. So I want to go direct to all of you listeners. Thank you so much for your feedback, for your emails, for your 5-star reviews. We love them and keep them coming. Mom, you told me I think that was last week, that you had a reading with someone and they had some feedback to share on the podcast.
It was so really, really, really nice that when we hopped on Zoom and she immediately said, we've only met a couple times, but only one time in person. It was at the Wanderlust in Canada that you and I did a couple years ago. And she had been here for readings on Zoom a couple times, and she says, "I just feel like I know you and Alex so well, even though you don't know me that well. We've only met 3 times, but I have coffee with you once a week."
It's true.
And she said, "I just feel like I'm in your world. I'm listening to you. You bring happiness. It's really, really nice. I want to thank you for your podcast that I listen to once a week."
That's great.
Yeah.
Honestly. And I don't think we get enough of that feedback this way. I think that we send a lot of our signals out in our conversation, but we don't even know if it's sticking. So please send in more of this feedback, because 1, we love sharing it, and 2, it is our soul food and we are hungry for it. So, yes. And thank you, Kelly G, for shouting out to us on during your reading. So let's move into the transits. We have today, your favorite day, Mom, Monday, October 18th, Jupiter stations direct.
All aboard. That means the train is approaching.
Okay. Perfect.
I'll give you more in our house.
Okay.
But this Jupiter has been retrograde for 5 months, at 12:30 a.m. on Monday morning, so we'll probably be sleeping, that's me, that we're going to feel a forward momentum. And, hey, at least we're on the train, even though it might take some time to get going. That's
Right.
a train. That's not a horse. But it's like we made it. We're on the train. We're now heading into Pisces land where I live and I feel at home, the announcer says. So this is the true peace train. So ride on. And anybody's birthday, who I mentioned this last week, that I gave you a little heads up.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody's birthday that is February 11th will have this Jupiter stationing right on their sun. So this is a very optimistic period for anyone born around that time. I know one is my mother. So really cool that we get to get on board. And, I'm calling it the Peace Train.
Yes.
So can I just do a little bit of this?
Your song, of course.
Well, because we're not allowed to play it. And
We're
we
not-
play it here in the studio. How often?
All the time.
In fact, when I asked the girl in the box, that sounds not so nice, but I asked that voice in the box in the corner of the room that I asked to play music sometimes. When I sometimes get stuck on what I'm asking her for, she immediately plays the Peace Train.
Oh,
It's
nice.
hilarious.
She knows your
But-
go-to.
Now I've been happy lately, thinking about the good things to come. And I believe it could be. Something good has begun. Oh, I've been smiling lately. Oh, dreaming about the world as one. And I believe it could be. Someday it's going to come.
Woo woo.
No.
I love it.
The
So,
people that are going to go on the retreat with me are
right?
going to be so tired of this, but I hope not.
So, same day, Monday, October 18th, Mercury is stationing direct.
Yeah, this happens around 10:17 a.m. Invite others in. This is, now we have more of a diplomatic approach to situations that were in flux, that were in, the repeat, the rewind, the release. And so now we have a little bit more conversations to work things through, to be a little bit agreeable. We have, Mercury is now moving forward the same day that Jupiter's moving forward. I can't be excited. And so invite others on, kind of reminds me of get your bags together, go bring your good friends too, because it's getting nearer. It soon will be with you.
Yeah.
So
All aboard the Peace Train. So, also that same day, the third transit is Mars trine Jupiter.
this is promises. This is by 9:30 p.m. And this is, it favors change. We got, the planet Mars, the action, the motivation, even though he is in a detriment place and combusts the sun. So he's not fully able or even willing, but he is making that trine to Jupiter, who is stationed direct, right? So in the stationing position, which means Jupiter is pivoting and Mercury's, this Mars is responding to it. So it's making a promise. It says, sometimes something will get better, even though it's slow right now. We may not know how, when, where that change occurs, but it promises to be good.
And that change is going to come. I like it.
Yeah. Come on now, Peace Train. Oh, Peace Train.
And your conflict day happens pretty much 2 days later. That is Wednesday, October 20th, the full moon in Aries.
Yeah, this conflict day is kind of a two-day conflict day. It starts on Wednesday the 20th. Yeah, full moon at 27 degrees of Aries. Now this full moon is at 9:57 a.m. So we can already know that we're not going to see the full moon at its fullest.
Right.
It's at 9:57 a.m. I titled this Work It Out. I'm not a big fan of this one. This is Mars here again, and Mars is the ruler of the moon. And the moon then immediately makes a square to Saturn. So they're both of the Mars and Saturn, the two malefics, are involved in this lunation. So makes me think that there may be some ulterior motives. Remember the little monkeys we bought as a statues.
Oh, like
and like the three statues. It's like
see no evil, seek no evil, hear no evil.
And then they had a fourth one, which is like putting your hands down
to your side. Do
side.
no evil.
Do no evil. You know, kind of reminds you of the flight, fight, or freeze.
Yeah, there's a new one.
And guess what it is?
Fawn.
Oh no, that's not the one.
Or friend.
Oh, I don't know about that. Tell more, because I'll tell you what I made up for this.
Well, because originally it was fight or flight, and then it was freeze because you don't do anything, or I think it's either fawn or friend, which means you befriend the enemy, or you play innocent. Yeah. So, anyway, mine was flight, fight, freeze, or work it out. That's my title of this day. Just see if you can compromise and work it out. That might be the friend one.
Yeah.
But a little bit more on the responsible side. Okay, so should we move on to the next day?
Mm-hmm.
Thursday, October 21st, Mars square Pluto.
This is, moving into the conflict, or continuing the conflict day. This is the man in charge wins. Now, this is a hint, because how much do you feel like losing? We always
Not
talk
at
about
all.
We always talk about winning and getting ahead and reaching goals and achieving and being optimistic, right? And this is looking at it from a different view, like a different perspective, because we got Mars, who is in detriment in Libra.
Okay.
So again, Mars doesn't have all of his capacities. He's not tuned in. He still combust. And he is square Pluto, the big guy. And Pluto's direct. So it's almost like those orders of standing down, of, there are other ways to deal with this energy. And because this is tense energy, this is powerful, square, tense, strife, conflict. And you think you may be able to get your leg up and get ahead and win and,
like a David and Goliath type of thing, where you're just like, I can do this.
It's kind of like the train, like the little Thomas train getting up the hill. It's just like, you know what? Not today. Right?
Okay.
And why am I talking about the train? But not today this way.
Okay.
So it's kind of like a stand down. There are other ways to handle the situation, because you need to wait for things to become clearer, or what is your true motivation? Are you just trying to be right? Because if you're just trying to be right, you're going to butt up heads with Pluto.
Right. Meaningful conflict is good. Meaningless conflict, not so much. So Friday, October 22nd, the sun ingresses Scorpio. Happy birthday, Scorpios.
Happy birthday out of his fall. And this is at 11:51 p.m. And he comes out of his fall and in Libra and into the next sign of Scorpio, where he goes into the dark, muddy waters, where he can dive deep into what is below. This is persistence and increased willpower. Will give you swimming strength.
Ah, okay.
Yeah, this is see what's upsetting for you. Like what's disturbing for you, and why do your waters get disturbed, or are you disturbing others' waters? It's Scorpio.
Right.
So it's about intensity. And it's a good time, we get a chance to do this. Intensities, once a year when the sun goes into Scorpio, which is, right around Halloween.
Mm-hmm. Perfect timing. So, okay, let's move into talisman times. You had a couple weeks off, and now you don't. So the upcoming talismans, you have 4. Monday, October 18th, to benefit from long-range goals.
Yeah, and I want to thank Nina Griffin here for providing offering a lot of her work in the classes I take to benefit from my long-term goals. I make this commitment now to increase my financial earnings in the future. Abundance is agreed, and I am patient.
And that is necessary for investments is patience.
This is the Saturn. We're grabbing that Saturn is direct and the moon is making an application. So it's this, and the moon is in gibbous form. So it's, making this waxing energy of coming up like, oh, I'm going to do this so I can get more, I can get more in the future. But yeah, you do need to be patient when you're doing the investment. Good point.
Yes. Okay, the second talisman upcoming is Saturday, October 23rd, to purchase real estate property for investment.
This financial decision to buy land holds and develops increased value for the length of time I own this parcel. So whether this is a home or a piece of property land without a home, or a building of some, or commercial or rental or something, again, it's an investment. We've got the moon making a trine now to Saturn direct. And Saturn's very, 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 very strong in the sign that he is in, because he's a ruler of Aquarius. And we have this is at the full moon period. So, the moon's making that full aspect.
Nice.
Yeah.
And you have 2 on Sunday, October 24th. The first, to share my skills and expertise with the world.
All that I know, learned and practiced is now available for others to receive. My successful work is ready to distribute. We all advance.
Yeah.
So immediately you can hear the disseminating moon here, right? This is about sharing and giving and the fruition of what you have achieved over the period of time. So this, and it's also in the ascendant is in the third decan of Aquarius, and this is success in a specialty skill of expert subject or a niche.
Sharing your talent. Yeah, your special talent, that special something that only you can give to the world. I like that. And the second of that day, Sunday, to give and receive glory and gains.
I humbly request during my prayers the acquisition of all good things. I find a connection in the response.
Yes.
So I wrote this and then read it and like, what?
Why?
I don't know. I don't know where this came from. I guess it was, again, this is the disseminating moon phase. The moon is sitting up, coming up over the horizon in the 7th lunar mansion. And this is about the acquisition of all good things. But what I'm talking about is the very end here, I find a connection in the response. I wrote it, then understood it after I wrote it. That's how a lot of, messages come through.
Right.
And it's like, I find a connection in the response. Like, I see things around me that are connecting me to my prayer.
Ah, I see.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like that version of that. So anyway, there we go.
And it also really, talks about how everything is interconnected. We just need to see how it all unfolds in front of us. So let's move on to the horizon. And October 30th, we have our November astrology forecast. If you have not already RSVP'd on Facebook, please do so, because that you will get a little notification when we do go live, when Sandy and Susan will be going through all of November's dates that have something astrological going on. They're going to give you the full rundown of why it's an important day or why it's a challenging day. And also on our website, we do have our cheat sheets. Those are a really easy PDF that you can have printed out right next to your computer every day, just checking in and seeing what's going on astrologically, and even making some personal notes for yourself. How is this affecting my day? What did Sandy and Susan say when they were live? So you'll have all that information in one place.
And that'll be available this week.
Yes, coming soon. let's see. Also, we are announcing for the first time our Constellation Bracelet Workshop Winter Solstice 2021.
That's a mouthful.
It is. So we call it the CBW.
That's hard too.
It starts December 4th and continues into late January. This is a multiple meetings.
12 plus a
12 plus an activation call, where these calls are an hour and a half long. It's a very small and intimate group, but it's the same people that we start building support system. We start building this incredible community. And every single time we meet, Sandy hand makes one bead for you. You get to call the affirmation, and you already know what's going on astrologically in your chart because you've already discussed and given all of that information. And at the end of our workshop, that's when you have a full Constellation Bracelet workshop, which each
or
of
the
those...
bracelet. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I guess I'm so used to finishing it with workshop. But yeah, you get a whole bracelet that is just those pinpointed dots in the sky that really turn into something tangible and valuable. And you get to write that story. It's beautiful. So we welcome you to join us. We're opening up a second group. So this has been such a strong community that we've been building that we're ready to start another group, another really strong supportive community. So
it is the strongest. You use that word a lot. Strongest other than a retreat that is, can be done in your home
virtually
on Zoom.
Yeah.
And it is, one of our bigger at home
programs
that we have
for sure
built maybe 3 or 4 years ago. So yeah,
and it's been awesome, especially, this is we recommend this program for someone who's going through a transition or someone who's looking for a huge amount of support, because you do have your clients that pop on every once in a while for a reading, but this is consistent work where you're diving deep, and you're diving deep with a small group together, where it's unlike anything else. I will really say that it's unlike anything else we do. So you can probably imagine it being a virtual retreat. That's just like it goes on for months. So yes, we'd love to have you. Click that link if you want a little bit more information. And of course, you can email me, alex@intentionbeads.com, if you are curious and have some other questions. Also, don't forget that our She Beads is still live on the site, our fall collection and our Halloween collection. So click that link in the description for more shopping needs. Then let's move into our house.
Well, let's talk about, we're in the middle of our 7-day challenge.
Oh, right.
Yeah. And biggest group we've ever had.
Yes.
And stay tuned for our next one. It'll be in 2022. Don't know the exact dates, but keep your eye out for it. It's awesome.
Yes.
Awesome.
So let's move into our house because I'm excited for this.
Okay.
This silliness that's about to ensue.
We have two
first,
parts.
We have two parts to this our house. So
we have the
first,
front of the house and the back of the house.
The front of the house we'll go and we'll discuss a podcast listener's question. Are you ready for it?
Sure. What is it?
I've heard people say that 2 zodiac signs will not work in a relationship. Which astrological signs are compatible, or does that even matter?
Yeah, it matters. I'm going to say yes.
And we're talking
no.
about sun signs here.
I mean, obviously, yes and no. If you sun, if you have the same suns, Aries, those work.
Okay.
First of all, there's a whole chart there, right? If we're just talking about sun, which is the bright shine, the ego, the personality, the vibrancy or vitality level, right? So that works with two people, a relationship that had the same sun, so
Right.
constellation.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, you would probably do fire and air. So fire signs that are the energetic, they're the hot, they need to move, they need action, pairs very nicely with air, because air likes to talk and think and seek and is curious. So those two can do adventures together, or travels for information and planning, like the air likes to do. And that's the fire signs are Aries, Leo, and Sagittarius. And the air signs are Gemini, Libra, and Aquarius.
Okay. And so with that mentality, when we're talking about the elements, so fire and water go really well together. The other
fire and air go well together.
Fire and water do not go well together.
Well, just like that, it's just like putting out a fire, right? Because the emotional one wants to discuss their feelings, and it's wet, and talk about their emotions, or how they're doing, and going off into the spiritual land of maybe needing isolation or needs to be by themselves occasionally. And so earth and water go really well together,
right? Because
earth is very stable, it's grounded, it's centered, right? It's
and
reliable.
The water brings a lot of nutrients to it, where they can grow something. There's
exactly
like a big tree or a little sprout. Yeah.
So, and the earth signs are Taurus, Virgo, and Capricorn. And then the water signs are Cancer, Scorpio, and Pisces.
And so in my understanding of this, because I think that a lot of people will distill astrology all the way down to just sun signs.
Unfortunately.
Right. And also to simplify things, right? It's kind of like the stereotypical, like, you fit into this box, so that's you. Because if we were to, expand the way that we talk about astrology to say like sun, moon, ascendant, stelliums, Mars sign, Mercury sign, it would be a lot. And the newspaper would be impossible to even talk about that. So I think here, I don't think it matters as much, because I don't want, people just to either go into a relationship or just oversimplify things and say, oh, we just don't get along, we'll never work.
Right. That's not true.
I totally agree with that, because there is so much more dynamic parts to your chart, who you are, how you operate, your behaviors, that there always is going to be some degree of connection between all humans. So that's where I sit on this question. I know they're probably not really asking the non-astrologer here, but yeah, I think it's a really interesting ponderance, because I do talk to people a lot about this when we are at a show and they're maybe not they don't understand really what astrology is. Like, they've never really seen a chart. They've just seen the newspaper clippings of the horoscopes. So, yes, that's what I think.
Well, I agree. And then there's the synastry, there's a Davison chart, there's composite charts, there's how do two people get along, what are their strengths, what do they need
as
to
a
work
couple
on,
right?
And one group of clients that I just recently kind of walked through is their annual perfections, and this was quite amazing for me.
As a couple, or how did that work?
The one person having a Saturn as their time lord for the year, and the other person having a Mars time lord for the year. And you're looking at a Saturn-Mars combination.
That's the two malefics. Right.
That's the two malefics. So, the Mars person wants to, move forward or disagree or start arguments or just be a little bit aggressive, a little bit Martian. Right. Maybe they're just trying to be assertive, right? But that edge of that
thin line.
Yeah, it's a thin line. And meanwhile, the Saturn person, just for that year, for that time period, the Saturn person's going, slow down. Can we talk about this later? Or let's work on this over a period of time. And the Mars person's like, let's do it now. Let's just finish this thing right now.
Right.
It's like, whoa, I'm really kind of not ready. I'll talk about it when I can. Right. So it's that I've been finding.
And that makes really so much sense too, because when I look back at my years, there's really no year that's exactly the same. Mm-hmm. There's different projects, there's different goals, there's different people in my life. So, that's really interesting that you say that, because going into those deeper aspects of an astrological chart can actually help the relationship as a whole too.
To know that.
Right.
Right. It's like, why am I different this week than since my birthday than I was last week?
Right.
When I was that age.
Right.
You feel the difference. And that's one reason why annual perfections are in my toolbox for astrology readings. I do them for everyone.
And so what do you do normally for like relationship readings?
I'll do a synastry chart. So that's comparing one person in a bi-wheel.
Okay.
Where you can kind of put one person on top of the other person's chart, and you can see what their suns do. Do their suns relate? Where's their moon? That's an important placement. Their ascendants, their descendants. Who are they attracting to them? How they discuss, how they talk. Do they have any planets combust? Those combust planets would be a little bit under the radar, a little bit shyer, and not have a say in matter or be seen in a matter. There are too many technicalities in a chart. Right. Astrology isn't the easiest of subjects to dive into.
Right, because there's just, like you said, there's just so many different ways to look at things, and there's so many things to discuss.
Yeah. And then you're looking at the aspects of the transiting aspects of when we're in a hard aspect in the sky, like this Uranus-Saturn that we're coming up to another one in December 24th actually, and where that's fitting in on one person's chart versus the other person's chart. Mm-hmm. So we all are developing and growing and sidelining and falling down and in our lives all the time. And have we chosen a supporter to walk alongside us so that we each look at each other and say, I'm picking you up, or please pick me up. And you can resonate there. And
when you're doing an astrology reading for a couple, are both people in the call together?
Most often.
Okay.
I'll do a quick needle run with the one, another quick needle reading with the other, and then I match them together. Now I have done where one of them wouldn't be present but gave me permission, and then they just share the Zoom call.
Yes. Well, so interesting. And I hope that answers your question on which astrological signs are compatible. Really, everyone is compatible. However, looking deeper into the chart and deeper into how you relate, that's really, truly the answer there. So also, I am going to be giving a little offer in the description. If you book your relationship synastry chart reading, you can use the code podcast for $20 off.
Oh, nice.
So,
nice of you to do that for me.
Also, in our part 2 of our house, what do we have, Miss Train Technician?
The train whistle signals.
Okay.
Now, I know you purchased this for me.
Right. So there is a backstory here. Yeah. So we've been playing Peace Train nonstop for months. Ever since this kind of train symbol has come up. And here,
In
it's
fact,
so,
I've named my
you've named your retreat Peace Train.
Yeah, because Jupiter's going to be in Pisces then.
And so, I mean, it's really cool how everything's really coming together. And what happened was I wanted to find you a train whistle. And I found one. It's like a toy. It's like made out of wood, and it's like so simplistic looking. But the moment that, you know, you were going to put on our daily Peace Train music jam, you like hit a little bit, and then all of a sudden I hear this whoop, whoop, and I'm like, what? Because I had ordered it for you. I totally forgot about it, and all of a sudden you're playing Peace Train like normal, but all of a sudden there's a train sound, and I'm like, what? That sounds so perfect. What is that? And it's this tiny little...
It's not that tiny.
Well, okay.
It's like a ruler times 4. No, well, when it came
Compared to a train, though.
When it came to the door, I'm thinking it's something else. I open it up and I'm like, a train whistle? Oh my gosh, Alex must have ordered this. I open it up and I play on purpose the song.
Yeah.
And did that on purpose for you to.
It was hysterical. I couldn't even believe it.
But here's even funnier.
Yes.
So there's a little paper connected to this, and it gives us train whistle signals.
I love it.
Have you ever?
I've never given it a second thought. Like, I've always seen, you know, trains come through. Actually, when I was growing up, the house that I grew up in, we had trains that would go through every now and then on the tracks, you know,
in the woods,
like past our backyard. But I would remember like hearing it come through and hearing those sounds. So but I didn't know that it was like a Morse code type of thing. I didn't know.
I didn't either, I don't think. I mean, I think, you know, they have to speak to one another, but
I thought it was like a beep beep. I'm coming through. I thought that was it.
You want to hear which ones you want to hear?
Give us your train technician tutorial.
So this is the train station approach.
Perfect.
This is the stop.
I've heard that one before.
Okay.
Yeah.
That means it's approaching.
Mm-hmm.
Here's the stop.
Definitely have heard that one too.
Here's the back up after standing.
I never knew that they could back up. Can they? Apparently.
Here's the proceed, release brakes.
Never.
Okay. This one is flagman, protect rear of train.
Hey, flagman. Okay, let's hear it. I feel like I've heard that one.
Flagman, protect rear of train.
Okay.
I think I like saying it better.
Your
This
Peace
is
Train's going to have a big
approaching
megaphone.
crossing.
Okay, I think I've heard this one. Okay.
Long, short, long.
Okay.
Call for signal. I don't know why you have to call for a signal.
Why?
I don't know. Isn't a signal a call?
Well, I think the signal is
the mechanical thing that...
Right.
Okay. This is calling for a signal.
Okay.
Here's signal
It's like,
received.
wake up, signal.
Here's signal received. Here's signal received.
This is so funny.
And one more. Approaching meeting or waiting point.
Okay. I think you have, some amazing train technician skills.
I'm going to need to perfect them. But I tell you what, I really think I've got some really good visions.
But how good does that whistle sound?
Audibles for the Peace Train retreat, because I think I can just lay in bed and do this and make sure everybody's getting up and going where they need to go.
That's like your morning wake up alarm.
All the employees at the retreat will certainly remember us from this, versus the last time when we cut one of the employees' hair, off.
Well, no, it was she
asked for it,
right?
And we did a ceremony and cut it, gave her wisdom, and then she buried it in the sand.
Right, and then another one we had the moon rise over the island over the Sea of Cortez.
That gives me goosebumps. We're not going to get that this time, but we're going to get a.
But yeah, we change it up every year, and that's what makes it really new and exciting for you and I too. Mm-hmm. This one is especially different because I'm not going to be there this year.
Hold on, what does that mean? What's that?
Flag man.
Stop.
So yeah, I think you're going to have so much fun. It's going to be a really wonderful retreat.
I'm already having fun. Can you tell?
Yes, always. Yeah. So I think that's a wrap on our podcast. Do you want to say Flagman, take the rear?
Flagman, protect rear of train.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode.
Get out of the way.
This crazy episode of Astrological Intentions. We love you. We thank you so much for your feedback. And don't forget to give us those 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts. All right, everybody. Have a great week and see you next week.
Bye.
And so you finally know you control where you go.